Hello, everyone, and welcome to Light Haven, the podcast for all things spiritual, mystical, and energetic. My name is Ruth, mystery student towards the awakening of consciousness.
And my name is Bianca, lightworker and astrology enthusiast.
And I'm Stephan. Hello, welcome.
Oh, yay!
Hello,
welcome.
we should be saying welcome. Yeah.
It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. The title of today's episode is Living Limitlessly. We have the good pleasure of hosting Dr. Stephan Neff. He is an saying this word is hard. Anesthetist. Oh, wow. You say it.
I guess.
Or
it's Stephan, and I'm an anesthetist and a functional medicine specialist.
Very good. He's also a best-selling author, speaker, show host, life coach, and an avid baker. He's crafted an amazing life for himself, even though he's seen his fair share of life challenges. Today, he spreads a message of hope and inspiration for many on how to live their most healthy life, body, mind, and soul. Welcome. I'll let you have the good pleasure of doing a little bit more of an introduction, Stephan.
Oh, thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to be on your show. You guys are doing such an amazing job of actually being merchants of hope, of opening up a such needed discussion about topics spiritual, but also linking it down to leadership and linking it to all those challenges that we are facing. And in all reality, isn't it? We are all going through hard times. It seems to be that everyone I speak to is having their fair share of trauma. Let it be let's say marriage breakdowns or divorces, let it be problems in jobs, let it be burnout, raised levels of anxiety. So here we are trying to be spiritual beings and trying to live our life to the fullest, when in reality, everything is going absolutely pear-shaped in so many people's lives. So it is a challenge nowadays. But we can combat that actually very easily by having meaningful discussions, meaningful, open conversations. That's exactly what this show does. So thank you so much for providing me with a platform to share some of my insights.
We're so pleased to share this space with you, Stephan. And I'm very intrigued because I understand, of course, we have our challenges that come and go. You know, they say that it's like a sine wave. Life has its peaks and troughs, right? And as I understand, in the past, you did have some dark times and you triumphed through that. Can you tell us a little bit about your transformation journey?
Well, some people have got one major trauma and are becoming well known for it. So many celebrities who are out there who have, for example, being SEALs or being in some very untoward circumstances and have that single transformation, that single moment in time changed their life forever. I've had many of such moments in my life. So therefore, it's hard to focus it down on one transformation. But I think the sheer fact that now at the age of 58, having just gone through a divorce, having gone through joblessness, having in the past had adverse childhood experiences, having been the victim of a gang assault, there were so many things there that shaped me. And initially, I didn't have any of those skills that nowadays I possess. They came with a high tuition fee because I maybe my XY chromosomes guided me to just give it a go. And I was a bit like a chimpanzee, sort of sitting at a keyboard and sort of go, that's nice. What's that? Alcohol. Ooh, I like that. And ooh, what's that? Oh, sugar. Ooh, ooh. But being a type A personality and being a go-getter, of course, I try to do everything to the best of my abilities. So when it comes to the sugar, so down the line, I wrote a cookbook about dangerously good German cheesecakes. Okay, of course.
Oh,
And
wow.
when it comes to alcohol, well, yeah, a bottle of vodka, yeah, oh, that's what a man does on an evening to just, get a bit more relaxed. So I'm an overachiever in so many, many aspects, and you could say addictions. And that same applies to so many of us. I would say it is hard for me to find anyone who is not addicted.
To something.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And you're
Mm-hmm.
quite right. Now, about 30% of people, 1 in 3, maybe conservatively 1 in 4, have got a chemical addiction. And that is the alcohol, the cigarettes, all kind of things. But that is only, that is 30%. There are so many more addictions there, from gambling to scrolling on the screen to shopping to sugar to overeating to having mindless sex with everything that has a heartbeat. There are so many addictions out there. And probably my first addiction in my life was to work, because I come from a, I guess, broken family, divorced at age 4. Mum went to work and 1 or 2 jobs. I was brought up by a great grandma. So, probably not the best of all upbringings, no father figure. And very soon I realized that if I am good at work, i.e., when I'm good at school, then I get praise. So that was very quickly a coping mechanism that I and so many high achievers have developed. We become workaholics long before we become alcoholics or whatever holic you are. And I think that is just one of these things. Now, I had no idea about these coping mechanisms. That was all my subconscious running me. And my subconscious, whoa, that was not a nice place to be, because I don't know if you guys know, we have got about 80,000 thoughts a day, between 60 and 80,000 thoughts. Now, if I ask you, give me one specific thought that you had yesterday, probably most people are struggling a little bit with one single thought, but there are 80,000 of them. And guess what? About 80% of them are negative. So you are set up to fail every day. So you want to be the spiritual being, when in reality, these little voices in your head are going, you're a bloody failure. Who are you to come onto this podcast here? You bloody imposter. And so on and so on. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm fat. This is the nice stuff. Okay. There's some.
There's
So,
worse.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
exactly. And we all have these voices, but and many of us, our life is run by them, which then also means that things trigger you, that, you suddenly fly off the handle and you have no idea, where is this coming from? It's coming from all these underlying programs that are running. And that is so difficult. So I think it is really, really important that we all recognize that these things are happening. And when it comes to transformations, it is probably there's so many transformations, because initially I transformed from a victim of a gang assault into a survivor. But what does that mean? Well, I transformed from this chubby little teenager into Rambo, literally Rambo. Um,
Woohoo.
yeah,
Wow,
exactly,
go you.
exactly. And my body was superb, chiseled marble. Okay, and that then came quite handy, because my gang assault was at 13. Then at 18, I discovered girls, university, and alcohol. And when you have got such a body and a bit of a cocky mouth, suddenly things go very well for you. But having said that, that was one transformation. Needless to say, I had not learned anything. PTSD was not known, or really not known. It was sort of the time of the Vietnam War, when you actually think about it, shortly thereafter. People had no idea about it. And I certainly didn't get any support whatsoever. So there I was, making it all up by being this macho fighter. and then using alcohol to calm down. Well, talk about coping mechanisms, eh? And so that is the problem. We rely on things that let us escape our reality, and many of us do that. And there's so many ways that you can do that. The emotional overeating is probably such a prevalent issue out there, because if you look at the rising rates of obesity, of diabetes, of Alzheimer's, these are all sugar-related or metabolic chaos-related problems that really come back to us trying to survive here and now, because we are living in this sympathetic driven fight and flight, fawn, and all these other sympathetic coping mechanisms or coping patterns. And your body feels at any one moment, oh my God, I'm going to die. So what do we need? We need sugar to actually survive that. And we try to escape this reality. So as long as we are not building an awareness, a consciousness about those kind of things, makes it really, really, really hard to actually change your habits, change your attitude, change the way you're behaving. You can only do so once you have actually become clear what is holding you back. So if you're striving towards a spirituality, if you're striving towards an enlightenment, which we all do, when you actually run a secret life that is absolutely torpedoing, absolutely holding you back at any 1 second, no surprise that you are struggling, that you are fighting, and that you won't get anywhere. So therefore, when it comes to transformation, it is many traumas often come together in a life, and these are opportunities. Each of them in my life has been an opportunity to grow, and the teacher appears when the student is ready. So I guess I needed to be a survivor first, and then later on I became a thriver. But still, I had thriver, to thrive rather than survive. Yes. And so I grew this post-traumatic growth, which is beautiful, and I love it. I mean, but then again, I thought, oh, here I am, look at me. Hey, I've overcome that. Only then for the next trauma to really show up and show me up that I had maybe accumulated a little bit of wisdom and maybe 1 or 2 coping mechanisms that are not negative, that are not pulling me back, but pushing me forward. But then suddenly you realize, wow, there is more there. So it is an opportunity. So transformation comes in many, many shapes and colors I've found in my life. The most recent one, my divorce, and in turn, that grief, that loss, the grief for a living person. Now, that was something I'd never really appreciated. The grief of me losing my job, my position, a very esteemed position as an anesthetist. And it is those kind of things. Suddenly they pull the rug from underneath you. And here you are again. You think you have overcome so much trauma in the past, only for the universe actually to say, look, we're not finished with you. There's so much more you can learn, and therefore so much a better person you can become. But nowadays we live in a society where instant gratification is expected. Come on, just have these 2 pills and you're going to be just fine. Or buy this whatever new schnick-schnack that will get you slim. Just do 15 minutes on it and you look like a top model. Yeah, right. We are falling into that kind of attitude. And I think it has never been more prevalent with social media. We get fed so much bullshit, and we are comparing ourselves to so much people. We actually, so many people who themselves are just persona on an internet, when in reality, if you were to speak to them, just an honest conversation as we are having now, bloody hell, you would find that a fraction of what they are showing is the reality. And these are,
100%.
isn't that? Mm.
Yeah, those personas that are portrayed on social media, it's highly curated and edited. It's shown in a way to present an image that they want to present.
Yeah.
But besides that, also the people in their lives have to be constantly behind the camera, and everything is all set up and done. Now this whole family, sometimes the influencer is putting their family on social media. They have to all live for the perfect shot, and they're not even able to enjoy the moment anymore. It's absurd.
Yeah.
And we can also learn from that. You don't necessarily need always positive role models. You can actually live with intention right now in the moment and observe what is happening. Observe what the mainstream media is telling you and ask yourself, first of all, is it right? Is actually really the truth? And why are they telling me that? And if you do the same with, let's say, nutrition, with when you go shopping and actually say, okay, is that the green tick or whatever you look at, the healthy kind of green New Zealand style, is that actually true? And why are they telling me that? So it's again, if you make that a habit, then this can actually be a very interesting journey that you're starting. And with that comes true enlightenment, because you realize that there is actually oh man, don't get me started, but there's so many lies. We have fed lies, we have fed half-truths. We are basically led by people who want to make money out of us. And we need to accept it. That is what marketing is. And big companies put gazillions of dollars into marketing to make you buy something or to portray something as healthy, when in reality it's a mixture of sawdust and claws and beaks that are scraped down from an abattoir floor. And so it is quite interesting to use all teachers that are coming into your life, regardless if they are good or bad, and pick them out and pick those things out that suit you right now. So I'm as grateful for the negative role models as I am for the positive ones. Surely I try to surround myself with positive ones, but if if I am getting shafted or if someone tries to pull one over me, then I say, interesting.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is that it's all about being incredibly conscious with everything we do, and
Absolutely.
not just taking things at face value, whether
Yeah.
it's our choices to do with what we are eating or the content we're consuming, but to actually analyze it and assess it for ourselves and make that decision, rather than letting things just fly at us and being kind of a victim to our surroundings and our environment and saying, hey, it's my environment. Oh, everyone's doing that. Everyone's eating that. Oh, eat the donut, watch some TV. And it's not like any of these things are inherently wrong in themselves. You yourself are an avid baker. Like, we're not saying to stop baking, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
we're
exactly.
saying to be conscious about your choices and design the kind of life that you want to live, knowing that whatever goes in is what comes out.
And you nailed it, because you had several keywords in there. The first of all is intention. You need to live with intention. No, you need to. It's your choice. Again, it's all about choices. But I choose nowadays to live with intention. So right now, I'm here with you, and I enjoy every second of it, being 100% present. Later on, hopefully, I will be down on the beach and just let the wind blow into my
Watching
hair.
the sunset.
Exactly. And I will live then in the second. I will not be worried about tomorrow, etc. It's living with intention. But the other thing you said is taking action. You actually, that is the difference between a dream and actually creating a goal. A dream is something nebulous, something, oh yeah, that would be nice kind of thing. If you want to change that into something more realistic, you need to be quite clear about your dream. So don't just say, well, I want to be good looking and slim. Well, no, in my case, I was 146 kilogram. I'm now 117. And
Wow.
my goal is 100. So I'm precise. I'm 100 kilogram. That's how I'm going to look like. No, I will not have any beauty surgery. No, that's just fine. But with me actually losing weight, with me being active, with me eating healthier, there will be a different glow coming off me. So therefore, this is beautiful. So I've changed my dream from, I want to be somehow good, to very crystal clear. So my dream has become a vision. And now I'm taking action, and then becomes a mission. And I think that is the key thing, you taking action. And for that, you need to know what are your goals. It's so nice for all of us to, well, not so nice. We are all working terribly, terribly hard, but often enough, we don't have a clear goal. So we are working hard. We are bopping around. We're trying this, we're trying that, when completely confused. And then we are surprised that we're not getting anywhere. Most of us don't spend the time with ourselves, don't give us ourselves the respect, the love to sit down and just shut up and listen to your inner self and try to ask yourself, who do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you want to be? What is your goal? What is the most beautiful day you could imagine? And take the time to write it down in all details. And now if you figured out what is your most beautiful day, question is, well, why are you not living that? And you could say, okay, well, I don't have the money. Well, that's cool. How much money do you need to live that day? Okay, 100,000. Cool. Now you have got a goal, 100,000. And if money was the only thing, you then drill down and say, okay, how can I create this wealth? And maybe more, so that I'm not just living one day in such a beautiful way, but more days, and maybe have more money that I can give to others so they can live their most beautiful day. So it's this kind of mindset of living with intention, getting clear with yourself, deep down, who you really want to be, what do you want to be? And I say who, not what. Who? Who is this person that is waiting to come out? Who is this inspired, enlightened person? How can we nurture this person? And if you say, well, at the moment I'm so down and out, the only thing I can do is lie on the couch and actually scroll on social media, then I congratulate you, because you have found out that you're so run down and that you need to take time out because you're so bloody burnt out. I congratulate you, I commend you, because you have taken the time and you've figured it out. But after a few days, maybe you're saying, well, actually, time to take some action. Okay, brush your teeth, get up, and put something on and just go for a walk. And if it is just down to the post office box or post box and back, that's cool. That's more than you did yesterday. And that is from complete burned out stage starting. Wherever you are, you need to draw that line in the sand and say, well, okay, that's me now. Am I happy? Have I achieved everything I want to achieve? And if so, wow, I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand and I want to figure out how you did that. Okay. But if you haven't, then figure out, who do you want to be? And we have got the power of living with intention and living with choice, but we need to start with ourselves, guys. Okay, it's no good that you say, oh, I want to meet the most beautiful enlightened person sitting in a pose on the highest mountain. Bullshit. How about you start with getting your sleep sorted, getting yourself hydrated, stop eating shit, basically stop drinking alcohol to excess. Let's start with the basics, get that right. Try to figure out what metabolic chaos is actually holding you back. We know that 95% of serotonin is made in our gut. So here you are, you're eating all kind of ultra high processed food, and you think that you're going to be a happy person. Your blood sugars are going up and down like a yo-yo. You are going after every bloody donut that there is. Do you really think that those blood sugar spikes are not contributing to your anxiety, to your depression, to your IBS, to the gut symptoms, to your brain fog, to all those things that are holding you back? So here you are striving for some beautiful enlightenment, when in actual fact, you're completely holding yourself back with your daily living. You're not putting the micro pauses in there. you're not putting those times in there where you show your body the respect, where you actually maybe learn some breathing exercises, where maybe you ground yourself and just walk barefoot somewhere in nature, where you just hug a tree. Whilst I'm saying that with some fun, I actually mean it. Be out there, because
Yeah.
there's so much to be said about frequencies that are doing our body so good. Vitamin D, which is so beautiful, the sunshine. It's very hard for me to be depressed when I'm looking out there in a beautiful sunshine. There's so many little things. If we create the habits of investing in ourselves, of putting all those things into our daily lives, suddenly you reach a level of serenity, a level of zen, of calmness. And that is beautiful. That
I think it starts
calmness.
to radiate once you do start finding that peace and that zen within.
Isn't it?
Yeah, then I feel like your world starts shifting and it comes a little bit more colorful.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. But yeah, take action. And those actions need to be living with intention. And that's what this is all about. We can.
Beautiful. Absolutely. This has been so inspiring, and we're just getting started. It's like a motivational talk, Dr. Neff. I'm really appreciating this positive energy. And you've mentioned so much. We've kind of jumped around a lot of different aspects of how people can achieve well-being. For those who like it really simple and basic, if you could boil all that down and put it into a few main keys.
Now
what
this is the challenge.
Yeah, what would you say based on your expertise, your experience, everything you said, if you could just, I know we're talking about being limitless, but now I'm going to say, what if we limited it to a few things? What would be the key ingredients to achieve the highest potential in one's life?
Well, we can use studies who looked, for example, at how we can improve headaches, migraines, chronic migraines, there are many studies in similar models where actually insurance companies tried to create impactful things to reduce sickness days at work. And there's two beautiful studies, one in teenagers, one in adults, where they did behavioral changes, where they introduced people to mindfulness and to a number of changes within their day, within their lives. And in those studies, for example, the one in adults, they reduced the sick days by 10 days a year, by just mindfulness, by using some of the things that I've just introduced you to. And when they then boiled it down, what was the easiest to maintain and what was the most effective? It was hydration. Actually, keep yourself hydrated. And it was sleep. Those two things were the low-hanging fruit that were easily achieved. And when I say sickness days reduced, not with drugs or anything, it's just lifestyle changes. So I think your sleep, and I think I would go further, the times during the day when you let your body allow to rest. With that, I don't mean to sleep. I mean to rest and restore. Put yourself in a parasympathetic, into a vagal tone, where you don't run around like a madman, but rather where you take a pause to actually reflect. There could be some meditation, if you're religious, some deep prayer. This could be some listening to some calming music. That could be out there just feeling the sun on your skin. Anything like that allows you to restore and calm things down. But the sleep, definitely. If I want to really mess your life up, I mess with your sleep. So therefore, sleep and hydration. And I have created a sleep course, and part of a functional medicine specialist is indeed to look at those kind of things, to actually improve the ability of people to improve their sleep, to actually, we know it's so easy, or it's so easily said, you just need to look after your sleep. Well, how the hell do you actually do that? Because there's so many things that you can do. And of course, you want to have a nice tablet that does it. Yeah, tell you what, doesn't work. It works for a short period of time, and sometimes it can be of help for a few days, but no. It is a whole regime. But once you know what to do, suddenly your sleep is so much better. And the last few days, I've had so much stress. Yet one evening, I actually did what I was supposed to do. I had a most beautiful sleep.
Oh,
And
wow.
I just
Also,
proved it. You just prove it to
yeah.
yourself again and
Yeah.
again.
So is there a quick summary secret, or do you have to do the program? Like, is there
No,
one
it is.
thing people can do now?
Yes, absolutely. Start with no coffee after
Oh, yeah.
5. Okay. The
Or even
Oh,
after
simple thing.
that's
midday.
not so
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, I thought
No,
you were going to say midday, but
Yeah.
5.
no,
Oh,
no.
anyone can
Well,
do that.
I'm well. Talk about holic. I'm still a coffee holic. Okay, so
Yeah.
I
but then
think we
again,
should be allowed that one.
uh,
Just coffee.
not one, not one. As in, you can have up to 5 cups a day. That we know is good, but don't have them in the evening and then wonder
Uh-huh.
why I can't
Wait,
sleep.
5 cups a day of coffee is okay as long
It's
as
okay when you look at cardiovascular status, when you look at
Wow.
ischemic heart disease or problems of
Okay.
stroke or etc. If you're,
Okay.
however, a brittle high blood pressure patient and
Mhm.
you're mainlining coffee, that's probably not so good for your blood
Yeah.
pressure. Okay.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
but I'm saying no, if you look from a medical point of view at the risks of stroke, heart
Mhm.
attacks, etc. So coffee is actually beneficial for you.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
good
good to
news
know.
for exactly.
Wow. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so pleased
Alcohol,
to hear this.
absolutely. Alcohol is not.
Yeah.
Every single glass of alcohol you drink is reducing the lifespan.
Not
I
even
think
like a cup
Wow.
of red wine?
nice
No?
try, nice try. That was the 1970s, the
Okay.
French paradox, where they
Yeah.
suddenly figured out, hey, these French, they're eating all those high butter and croissant, etc. But they're
So
all
much
living longer.
cheese.
Well, that's right, but they're living long. So therefore, oh, it must be the alcohol. And then they said
Mm.
resveratrol, that was the compound within the red wine.
Mhm.
And they said, that's brilliant. Now let's drink more. And of course, the alcohol industry jumped onto that very quickly.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
in a
All
nutshell,
right.
I'm
No
sorry,
alcohol.
2 milligram of resveratrol is in a bottle of wine. You need about 50 milligram of resveratrol in a day to make a little bit of difference.
Okay.
So, unless you want to really have 25 bottles of red wine a day, I'm not so sure that this is beneficial for your
Yeah, no.
lifestyle.
I
So no,
see.
alcohol is out. It is linked to, unfortunately, so many cancers, at least
Okay.
8 different cancers.
Wow.
So yeah,
8.
yes,
Ooh.
and for the girls, especially the breast cancer. So
Really?
yes, so guys,
Okay.
take it easy on the vino, okay, or
All
in any other
right.
shape or color.
All
And
right.
Yeah.
also I've written heaps I've written a book, My Steps to Sobriety, which is now coming out in its 3rd edition. So in there I'm picking it all apart. So for those of you more
Ooh.
interested in that,
When is
and
that due to come
any
out?
Yeah.
day now.
Oh,
We are
I'm so
talking
Oh,
literally,
excited.
absolutely, literally. I would say what is now? It's the end of November. By Nikolaus, by the 6th of December, for sure, it is out
cool.
there.
And where
Oh,
will
I'm
it be
so excited.
available?
Hey, it's
Where,
available on Amazon, and
Amazon?
Ingram
Okay.
Sparks is the hard copy producer, so that will be
Okay.
in all the typical places.
Oh, wow.
So
Perfect.
yes,
Oh, I'm so
so
Exciting.
excited
alcohol.
to grab a
So
copy.
oh, thank you. But no,
Mm,
alcohol is definitely not your friend.
okay.
It is. Let's be clear. It serves a purpose, as all addictions do. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. The reason that you drink, there is a damn good reason for the
Mm.
childhood trauma, the real traumas, so many other reasons that you want to escape your reality. So you have found something that works for the time being, but unfortunately, it's suicide in installments. So therefore, yeah,
Wow.
there are better ways to live your life.
Mhm.
But coming back to your
Mm.
question, what can you do? Low-hanging fruits. Look after your sleep, hydrate, get off the donuts, and
Yeah.
basically start living a healthier life. Get some exercise in there. God, we could do a whole talk on exercise.
Mhm.
Probably more strength exercise the older we
Mm-hmm.
get. Otherwise,
Like the
and
resistance training,
exactly
weight training
strength,
feels so
really,
good.
Does
absolutely.
that include HIIT workouts?
I
Yes,
think that,
absolutely,
oh,
within all
does it
means.
include that?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All of them have got benefits. If you
Mhm.
overdo it, well, you get negative
Mhm.
feedback,
Mm.
you get more
Heard that.
injuries. And the
Mhm.
older we get, the more tricky it can be. And again, this can become an escape mechanism. Many young people, if you look at girls who are absolute gym bunnies, if you look at their menstruations, at their hormonal cycles, they're shot all over the place,
Okay.
because they're overdoing it. So as with everything, moderation.
Yeah.
But if you
Moderation.
get just a little change, just 1% of your day from now on, if you invest it in yourself, and 1% is 15 minutes. And you don't need to do it all in one thing. Do 5 minutes in the morning of awareness, of mindfulness, of maybe 5 minutes at lunchtime, where you actually say to everyone, shut up, I'm eating, and you actually eat your food. Literally, hello, food. That's nice.
Just
Look at
focus
it.
on it.
Absolutely. And then 5 minutes in the evening, maybe a gentle stretch. Wow. You have done more than you did in for a long time. And now imagine that every day you're compounding and your life will change. It's impossible for you to be stagnant if you invest in yourself, because your body loves it, and your body will feed back messages like, ooh, that feels good. I feel good. Look at me. I feel good. I'm awake. Why am I awake? Oh, you actually slept 10 hours worth of quality sleep, and you are hydrated, because your body doesn't think, oh my God, I'll die in 24 hours because I have not got enough fluid on board. Your blood sugar is stable. So because you have not eaten a donut, but you've eaten some walnuts and some dates. So, so many little tricks, and each of them is meaningless. But if you start putting them all in play, very soon, after a week, you feel different. After a month, people around you say, wow, what's happening? You're a different person. Are you on a diet or something like that? Now, spoiler alert, 95% of diets do not work. You fail. So
It's a
January is
lifestyle change, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So be there for the long run. And once you start that, hey, the enlightenment, the spirituality, it's just waiting around the corner. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I also found that surrounding myself with people who are supportive of these lifestyle changes as well, because like I remember having a conversation with someone about how important sleep was to me and how I needed at least 8 hours, and I need to go to bed by a certain amount of time. It was flexible, give or take an hour or two, but like I'm not going to be up till all hours of past midnight. Even if it was a Friday or Saturday, I just felt like, sleep is so important to me. And I know how it feels to wake up in the morning, like with such lack of sleep. And I've got that brain fog and it was such a struggle to get on with my daily tasks. So yeah, finding people who are supportive and respectful of these changes that you are trying to implement for yourself is also quite important in my opinion.
As with
Couldn't
everything.
agree more. I was just going to say, people can be dismissive, when you are trying to make these positive changes. I remember years ago, I think I was a teenager at the time, telling a friend that, oh, it's 10 o'clock, so I need to go to bed. And she was trying to do a big download of what was happening in her life. And she made this kind of backhanded passive aggro comment where she said, okay, if your sleep is more important than, more important than me or our friendship. And so it was her saying, like, how could you value your sleep? We're having a conversation here. Come on. So there's not a good education out there about what are the basics for a good life. People think it's disposable.
No. And when we are valuing this type A personality, the kind of go-getter who works all the time, us going out there, look how active I am, look what I'm achieving. We are valuing that in society, when really that is okay for a short period of time.
You're going to burn out.
Oh, hell yes. Absolutely. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And just one more other thing. What you just said is so important with your friend. Let's say one thing though. Not everyone is meant to be in your life. Even if you were calling them a friend, we often surround ourselves like alcoholics we often surround ourselves with those people who drink a lot. So therefore, we don't stand out. And then when you actually stop a certain behavior, in this case, the alcohol, then suddenly you are no longer the funny person, the life of the party, all that. So be very clear about that, that if you start changing, if there is a codependence there, if other people are depending on you and you suddenly are standing up and they either move away or they fall down and they move away, and they might be passive aggressive. The other thing what you mentioned there is, let's be clear, some people are hardwired in not nice ways. 10% of people, 1 in 10, have got a personality disorder.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 1 in 100 are psychopaths or sociopaths.
Oh God.
Okay,
It's
so
not a funny thing, but
these are hard
wow.
statistics. Okay, so not everyone who you meet is playing by the same rules.
I see.
Okay, so don't
All
just say, "Oh my
right.
God, it is. I don't know. Is there something wrong with me?" No, this might just be a
Mhm.
real asshole, and
Right.
there's very little you can do about it. This person will not change because it's hardwired in them.
Wow. And that's so important to take away, because there's so many times where I'm thinking, uh, this person came into my life for a reason, and there's something that they're reflecting back to me that I must learn from. But then I'm thinking, well, if we're playing a different game, and different rules, or I'm just
Exactly.
thinking maybe the lesson is to walk away. Like, maybe
Yeah.
that is the
Absolutely.
lesson.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
feel that 100%. Sometimes you see someone come along and you just think to yourself, this is a test for me to actually just protect my energy. And that's the end. There's no more going backwards and forwards or any other pattern. It's just, can I stand in that sense of being firm and grounded in who I am,
Yeah.
and just say no, and we don't need to have a long conversation about it. I don't need to explain myself to you. It's just no.
Yeah. I like that you brought that up, Ruth, that the energetic aspect to it. And I know we've touched on like the physical things we can do to take care of ourselves, to reach our highest potential. But I'm wondering, Dr. Neff, like, is there a way, like, how can people balance the spiritual and material pursuits? Is that a thing? Like, is there a way we can find that balance?
Yeah.
If so, how?
To say spiritual, that's a broad term.
Yeah, it is.
I would
'Cause
exactly.
how do we
So
define
Can
that?
can I give some context as well? Just
Yeah.
because
Go for
the
it.
other day I was chatting with a group of friends, and they're all in different countries. And this question is really important. And after this conversation, I want to be able to share this with them because it came up a lot. So this is a group of friends who some of them might be also creating content online. And when we say spiritual, we mean maybe they are studying meditation or
Okay.
energy and things like that.
Kind of like on an energetic level.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, okay, then use from
Mm,
looking from that broad point of view, then I would think the biggest thing that you can actually focus on would be your emotional intelligence. You're
I love that.
learning about your own emotions, being curious, becoming curious about how you respond to something, to let it be a negative energy, let it be a positive energy. Because all of these things, these are waves of energy that are coming to you, and your body responds.
Yeah.
It might respond with fear. It might respond with anger. It might respond with all of these things. If you don't know these emotions, then you're completely on a back foot. So one of the most beautiful courses I've done this year, indeed, was a course on radical self-compassion. And this course forced me to conjure up an emotion that I certainly did not like. And for me, it was easy. So we had to choose one. And immediately I chose fear. Because here I was having, going through a divorce, having lost my job, don't know where the money is coming from. Fear was there. And the skill was to conjure up this emotion and sit with it, feel it, taste it. See what it, I get goosebumps just now thinking about it. Okay,
Wow.
so very powerful things. And now, what would I normally do? And in the good old days, I'll give me a glass of wine or 5. Or, oh, let's just look what is on social media. I need to know what's on news, etc. Run away. But no, to act.
Deflection, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Typical deflection.
Exactly. But here you are just calmly sitting with that tsunami of terror that is washing over you, and allowing it to feel it in its full thing for 5 minutes, longest 5 minutes in my life. And then thereafter to be able to calm it down, to investigate it, and then to nurture yourself. Now that was so beautiful. And for all of you out there, it's a bit difficult. I'm balancing a microphone here, and for those of you
doing a great job at improvising.
For those of you listening out there, what I'm doing right now, I'm sitting here, but I'm actually putting my hands around my shoulders, holding myself, and now I'm closing my eyes, and giving myself a huge hug, as strong as I can. And I'm holding that hug. And I'm telling myself, Stephan, I love you. I love you with all my heart. You're an amazing man. You're an absolute gorgeous person. You've gone through so much shit. Look at you. You're still standing. I love you. And really say that. And 15 seconds or so, you release this dopamine, similar to when a loved one actually is giving you that hug. And it's so beautiful. I think that little exercise got me through a lot of dark times.
What a wonderful practice.
Oh, it is so beautiful. And that is what I mean with emotional intelligence, that you learn such things. Sometimes it's beautiful to do a meditation, close your eyes, 10 minutes or so. But if you're in the middle of a meeting, you can't do that.
No.
Then maybe in that meeting, you can do some diaphragmatic breathing, some vagal tone breathing. And with that, again, I mean, I'm a breath coach, but in a nutshell, we're trying to calm down the breathing. So we're breathing in over, let's say, 5 seconds. Hold your breath 5, 6, 7 seconds. Breathe out over 7 seconds. So what you're now doing, instead of the of the chaos, the sympathetic kind of thing, you're actually calming things down. You're letting the CO2 rise in your bloodstream, and that in its own right will calm things down. So that might be something you can do in a meeting whilst the meditation doesn't work. That hug could be something that you do when there's an anxiety attack. So you go to the toilet or go outside and give yourself that big hug, and just focus on that, on the strength that you're putting onto your shoulders, and say it out loud. I love you. I love you, Stephan. I love you. Okay, so these are 3 techniques that are so simple. And the more of them you can learn, the better it is, because not at every one moment any of them is applicable. So the more strings to your bow, the better it is.
It's like adding to your toolkit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the emotional intelligence. And once you are more armed with knowledge about yourself, about how you tick, who you are deep inside, warts and all. Okay, negative coping mechanisms, poor adaptation, adapting, I'm lacking the word of attachments.
I think it is. Oh, right.
Attachment styles, those kind of things. This is all part and parcel of you. Okay, you can't talk it away, wish it away. That doesn't get you anywhere. But at least you know how you tick. And then from that on, you can then bounce energy much better around. Negative energy that comes from someone, where you might actually just distance yourself in your mind, maybe rather than immediately responding with anger, but get this out of body experience where you actually look down onto that situation and say, wow, he's really an asshole. And it's not you. Okay. So, and then, or you can say, not just asshole, wow, he's really going through a bad time. I wonder what is really happening in his life that made him such a negative person right now to me, and he's letting it out on me. So those are the things. Emotional intelligence. That's something I've learned far too late in my life, and I regret that. But I didn't have the teachers. I didn't have that knowledge. It's only nowadays that I see the value of such teachings.
It's never too late. And the
Oh,
experiences that you went through, the transformations prior were, and how you got through that was how you were meant to get through it. And, you know, everything was meant to be for a reason. And it's never too late. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
So I was going to say before you
Yeah. Okay.
mentioned
Go
anything,
on.
Ruth,
Yeah.
just to tie in some of the things that you shared, Dr. Neff, was there's this. I remember there was this time, Ruth. It was something that it was an episode that we were about to record earlier this year. I can't remember. It was before we started actually video recording ourselves, but I don't know if you remember this moment where we were talking before we hit record, and I was very I was very nervous. I was quite like pent up, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I was having like a panic attack or some anxiety
I
attack or
remember
something.
that time. Yeah.
And you just like was like, okay, you know, I've got this I'm going to take you through this breathing exercise, just like, you know, go with me on this. And you just like brought me down into like a really calm state. And so that was one thing. I was like, yes, surround yourself with people who, you know, facilitate and support your growth. And second of all, as well as the you know, the breathing to how you mentioned Dr. Neff, I was just like, yeah, you know, like first of all, you know, don't be afraid to speak up and share how you're feeling. If you are in the presence of other people, obviously you wouldn't do it in the workplace, but like if you're with your friends or something, and something, you know, you're feeling a little bit nervous or anxious for some reason, and you know, the right people will help guide you through that experience and bring you to like a baseline, calm, zen, peaceful state of mind. And I just remember after that experience feeling so grateful, you know, for my friends and for Ruth for knowing how to guide me through breath work, and, you know, teach me how to bring myself back into a relaxed, calm state. So yeah.
But
I'm
please
so
remember,
glad to hear
again,
that.
no instant gratification. It's quite nice to learn that there. But imagine you're going to a gym. The first time you go into the gym, you look at all these people around you, and you look at all these weights, and the lightest weight you can barely lift. But imagine now you're going 3 times a week, 4 times a week into the gym. Do eat properly, have good sleep, hydrate, give yourself the rest in between. Can you imagine that after 3, 6 months, you're throwing these weights around as if they're paper, you know, paper? It's the same with breathing exercises. It's the same with meditation practice. It's the same with mindfulness exercises. The breathing practice, I've got it down to a fine art. Literally, when I record a show, when I've got guests on my show, Neff Inspiration, and I ask the guest, okay, we do 10 seconds pause now. And in that 10 seconds, I do a deep breath in, deep breath out, a mild neck stretch, and bing, I'm there. So I've learned to be highly effective. So I don't need 10 minutes of breathing. I can do one breath, but that is because I've practiced it. That is because I've done it again and again and again. But
And
I've
then you just
trained.
cue yourself in.
Correct. And we all have that ability. So therefore, this is just, what do you want to spend your time on? Cute kittens on the internet, quite nice. It's pretty. Nothing against kittens, okay?
Yeah, please
But
don't attack the kittens.
maybe
this hits home.
Okay, so you can actually also use the time. Look at the kittens, but take a calm, deep breath in, hold your breath. 5, 6, 7, breathe out.
Oh, nice.
So the more you practice those things, the easier they become, the more normal they become. So something that was very weird and you felt like a dog the first time you did it, you know, 6 months later, it's part of your life, and you don't even think about it. You just do it.
Well, actually, there's a bigger picture to that, because when Ruth and I started this podcast, it came about as an idea, and I for one really like this idea because I struggle with speaking and formulating my thoughts, and just like I struggle with my voice, and so having a platform where it's the two of us, talking about our ideas, about our just being curious about certain topics and sharing our lived experience has helped me. But so that was one episode, that was one incident where it was that anxiety that was kind of like, it's like you know what's challenging for you, and you embrace it, and you face it anyway, and it is going to be hard, and you are going to get nervous and anxious, and and let those feelings kind of take over you sometimes. But it's like the more you do it, like riding a bicycle, right? The more you do it, the more it starts feeling a little bit more natural, and it's a little bit more like, and then you slowly over time find your voice, find how to like find the confidence within to speak and not care, because there's a lot of that self-critic inside that thinks, oh, I'm gonna sound stupid, or I'm gonna sound dumb, or and it's just like, you know what, actually I'm now confident in myself that I don't care what other people think, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But that took time, and so having the difficult, like sharing those difficult moments and getting anxious and having those kind of like panic attack moments, and then having Ruth just be like, just breathe, it's going to be okay, we don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable with, take your time, and I was just like, oh, thank you. So
there's a word for that. It's called fear inoculation. And if you look at special forces, that is exactly what SEALs do, what Rangers do. It's part and parcel of their training. They're just as shit scared of things as you and me, but they expose themselves to being uncomfortable constantly.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And that is a beautiful place to be. Be uncomfortable. If you are comfortable, then you're doing it wrong. Okay?
You're not growing.
No, exactly. You need to be outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I think this fear inoculation, I had a masterclass of fear over the last 12, 18 months. I'm a very different man now. I can truly, honestly say I'm no longer as angry. I was about 2 minutes before we were due to be on show here. I just finished shaving and racing and just threw a shirt on. But it doesn't matter what happened at 5 minutes to the show. It was, I showed up, number one. 80% of success is showing up. Was I scared to come onto your show here? Of course I was. Okay, deep inside I am. It is you've got the fear of public speaking is one of the biggest fears of many people. It's deeply ingrained. When we were living in little tribes of 50 to 200 people in a cave, if you spoke up and people didn't like it, they threw you out and you were dead. End of the story.
That's where it comes from.
That's where we are so hardwired. That's where shame and guilt.
Because we're relational beings.
Of course.
Yeah, that's right.
There is this fear, this constant, deeply ingrained fear. Oh my God, I better don't make a mistake.
Of
which
acceptance.
is exactly. That's so so counterproductive. The more mistakes we can make, the better. And please remember, if you're like Michael Jordan and any kind of major basketball players, well, if these top players, they get 3 out of 10 right. So they fail actually 70% of the time. Yet we celebrate them as the best of the best. And here you are. So failure is part of it. But we just don't allow us to be that person.
Yeah.
I give you, however, that caveat as a doctor. If I sort of say, well, last week, I think 95% of my patients survived. 5%. Yeah, that's actually not a bad ratio. I don't think that goes so well.
Wow, yes.
You can't do that, no.
Oh, police marksman. Okay. So we
Yeah.
love perfection in some places, but
Of course.
please do not try to be the perfectionist 110% at every single aspect of your life.
Just not realistic.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have one final question. I'm not sure how succinct you may be able to answer this, but I'm particularly asking this because a lot of people that I've spoken to recently have asked me this question, and we've got you here. You're a doctor, so I thought it's prime time to get this out there.
Now's the opportunity.
Yes.
Use the chance.
So a lot of people struggle with brain fog, fatigue, poor circulation. I know for me, I have circulation problems when I sit to meditate and one leg goes numb after a period of time. But other people that I know that are also in practice, like to practice meditation, they struggle because of brain fog. And so they can't even meditate because their mind is so foggy, they can't watch their thoughts. And then the fog is there when they're during the day as well at work. And they feel so fatigued. They're trying to be, like what you said, they want to be enlightened, but way down here, the baseline is not sorted out. So what is the quick answer for these people? where does brain fog come from?
Oh dear. We could start that whole interview again. That's a hydration, poor sleep, shit food. All those things that I mentioned.
To take
That's
care
right.
of our bodies.
So every single aspect that I've touched upon will contribute to the brain fog. On the positive side, you have got all these things that you can start working with to actually alleviate that. But let's look at one thing that we haven't really talked about is really your gut, the way you treat your gut microbiome. So those 100 trillion bugs that are living in you. Sometimes there are some nasty buggers living in there. They're not supposed to be as profound and prevalent as they are. And sometimes the good guys are missing. So there's the role of actually healing the gut, giving the right balance of gut bacteria in there, but it's really your nutrition. So if you're full of brain fog and you're struggling, it's often enough there's maybe not enough protein in your food. The vitamin D might be very low. Selenium and zinc are often low because in our soil here in New Zealand, we have got just deficiencies in that. So, and if I want to create serotonin, your happy hormone, then really I need protein, essential amino acids. I need the vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, selenium. These are the things, the key ingredients for that.
Great. Can they supplement for all that?
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any supplements?
Yeah, the anti-brain fog supplements, because there's lots out there.
Anti-brain fog.
Yes.
It must be. No, I think that's like marketing, really.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's the same. I've just written an article on my website about ketone gummies. Ketone gummies, the best thing you can do for your weight loss. Bullshit. But it's so much.
Just marketing.
So one little tablet will not make a difference. But maybe the difference would be magnesium, and maybe the difference would be vitamin D, because they are so needed. I mean, this would be again low-hanging fruit, but it is so much more. Okay, there's nutraceuticals, very important. I think because our nutrition is not great. Even if you're not doing too bad, we need certain things extra. But with brain fog, often enough, it's you're sort of close to burnout. You're just subclinical. You're not yet crashing and burning, but you're close to. There's this adrenal fatigue. So in other words, if we were to look at lab testing, there are certain hormones tests, like a Dutch test that we do, where we can see exactly what is your cortisol doing over the day, where we see exactly what your male hormones are doing, and they all play part in that game. We can look at the inflammation status within you, and often enough, I mean, our modern, let's say, ultra high processed diet, the standard American diet, SAD, SAD, standard American diet, SAD.
Sad.
Okay, has got the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 should be about 3 to 1. In reality, it is 20, 25, 40 to 1 in some diets. So bottom line is you run inflammation within your system, and that inflammation affects your brain. And you're surprised that you're brain fogged. Then you're not doing exercise. You're actually not clearing out shit out of the microcirculation, and you're not bringing oxygen there. You're not inflating your lungs. You're not doing all those kind of things. So you get the picture. So brain fog, very much we can do heaps about that. That also comes especially then when you look at long COVID, when you look at those situations, post-viral infections, the kind of changes that we experience, where you just are just running 80%. That's so normal out there. But we can do something about it. But there's no quick fix. No, yes, it's good to have some blueberries. It's good to have some almonds. But if you think you eat 8 almonds a day and it's all fine, likely not. But if you work on your sleep, if you hydrate, if you start loving yourself, then suddenly things will change and this brain fog will clear. And that then allows you to become more receptive to the positive energies out there, i.e. your meditation. You are able to actually indeed embrace life with all the frequencies that are coming into your life, the abundance that is just waiting for all of us if we set the stage to receive. And most of us, as I said, we are trying to aim for this spiritual enlightenment, and in reality, our foundation is based upon on little sheets of paper that are wet. So,
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. We've covered so much good content today. Really, really pleased to have you on the show. Unbelievable how much ground we've managed to cover in such a short period of time. All about how to go inward and discover who you really are, what you're made of, and then being intentional and deciding who you want to be, and accepting the highs and the lows, and also just coming back to groundedness and the physical aspect as well, looking after your physical health, and then you can have all the other good airy fairy things after that. So it's been very informative, and make no mistake, we want all of them. We want all the good things, of course. And this is about how we get to that optimum state step by step. And I'm so pleased to also have learned about how to combat brain fog. I'm excited to share that with my friends who asked me as well. Just quickly, where can people find you and get in touch with you, Dr. Neff?
So my Neff functional medicine practice is in the Bay of Plenty. I will see patients throughout the Bay of Plenty, but mainly based in Rotorua and in Papamoa. The best place to find me is neffinspiration.com, which is my website. There you get a lot of introduction into what I'm doing, the functional medicine. There's heaps and heaps of free material there where you can learn more about different aspects. Let that be detoxifications or the impact of the environment on us, or nutrition, sleep. It's all there. The courses that are soon coming online, access to my books. So it is a good hub to start off with, neffinspiration.com.
Great. And are you on YouTube and any other platforms as well?
Neff Inspiration on YouTube. And so I've got my show there. We've got now in excess of 500 guests. All of them have broadened my understanding. All of them have either gone themselves through hell and back and kept going. All of them have improved my life. And these are the meaningful conversations that are so important for all of us to have. So that's so beautiful today here. This was a breath of fresh air for me
Oh,
to be among like-minded people who are thirsty of knowledge, of skills, how to get to the next stage. And whatever that next stage is in your life, there is a way to it. And sometimes you don't know what that next stage is. Sometimes your universe is actually planning something completely different for you. So just be aware of that too.
Just
When you
go along.
well,
Go along with
exactly.
it.
It's
Yeah.
a journey, but enjoy every single
just
step,
ride the
every
wave.
sec. Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Neff. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening. And remember, the path to your best reality is in your hands to create when you become conscious.